Buenas tardes, Nogalenses. We're back, and you may recognize this face, Hector Treto. He's been on a couple of times with Santos. This is your first time on my show, though, huh?
Yep, first time.
Yeah, he's just here for a second, but we've got some really, really great guests coming up after the break from Startup Unidos, and they've got some really good things going on that they're going to talk to us about. Before we get started, don't forget to give us a like and a share, and check us out on our social media platforms, which is at We Love Nogales all across. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we also have a podcast now that you can find on Stitcher or iTunes. You can also find us on YouTube. You can catch up on any episodes you missed, all of the episodes that you've missed on YouTube. Hector, you want to talk real quick about vote for tacos and vote for your main street?
No, yeah, for sure. So we are actually 7 days left starting tomorrow for the campaign for the Vote Your Main Street here in Nogales, where we're supporting to win funds to receive a grant from American Express and the National Geographic. Super, super important. The community has come so much together. It's been really unified. And we're going to have an open house event this weekend. So on Saturday, which is October 20th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., we're going to have a kickoff where we're going to give a tour from the Foxworth Lumber Co. and talk a little bit more about what it's done in its first phase and what they're actually doing as an organization with the Nogales Community Development, as well as what the next phase of the renovation for the Foxworth building is going to be, which is going to be an incubator and a / co-working space here in Nogales. So it's awesome stuff happening. But this event, October 20th, for the open house is just to celebrate the city of Nogales, the community, from everybody coming together. We want to invite you down here to the patio of the Nogales Community Development. We're going to have tacos, we're going to have drinks, we're going to have music, fun, and games, and do a little bit of tour of this historic building. So really want to invite the community out to come out. Sorry, I can't talk today. But thank you so much, everybody that's been a part of this, everybody that has voted. We really appreciate it. I'm really grateful. And again, thank you guys so much.
Okay, awesome. So make sure you go out there and vote. We're going to put a link in the comments for you to click on and go directly to the website to vote for Nogales. Now, you may have noticed that I finally cut my hair. I trimmed the beard. It was getting too long.
Looks good. Looks good.
It does look good, right? I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, damn, I look good. But it was getting long. I like having my beard. Right? Yeah. But when it gets too long, I just can't stand it. Other big things that we've got coming up this week. I know you guys are sick of hearing me talk about my book, but today is the official release date, and I'm super freaking excited. And tomorrow is the book signing at the Oasis Cinema, 4 to 8. We've got the video ad that we're going to play for you real quick, so you can get reminded once again.
Well, congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. So that's tomorrow at 4 to 8 p.m. at the Oasis Cinema. Don't forget to be there. Buy your tickets for the new Halloween movie that comes out tomorrow. If you're into scary movies, it's perfect. If you got kids, there are other options. You don't have to go see that. There's Goosebumps and The House with the Clock in its Walls, which I haven't seen yet, but I hear they're awesome. And I won't just have the new book. I'll have copies of my old book, my first novel, Conflict to Secure a Nation, which isn't a horror book for those of you who aren't so into horror. And then my other two, the first volumes of Unlucky Seven. Also, we want to say congratulations from us to the Santa Cruz County training programs for their 50th anniversary. 50 years of Santa Cruz County training programs. I can't talk either. And I'm throwing everything around. No, but for Santa Cruz County training programs. 50th anniversary, they're going to have a celebration. Edgardo, ¿tienes la fecha? Este domingo, so it'll be the 21st. This Sunday, the 21st, at the Santa Cruz County training programs, they're going to have a 50th annual celebration. Other things going on. The film festival that was actually started today and then will continue on Saturday, also at Oasis Cinema. And the 50th annual Fresh Produce Convention. I mean, 50 years, another 50th anniversary. And that's a big deal. I mean, they are sponsors, but it's a big deal anyway. You should check it out. I mean, you can go to their website and look for tickets, and that's at www.freshfrommmexico.com. Another big thing that's coming up in just a couple of weeks, it's actually about 19 days away, is the midterm elections. No matter who you vote for, it's just important that you vote. Get out there and vote. Vote for local, vote for state, and vote for national. It's all important. It's all vital to the democratic process. If you're not registered, you can go to the MVD and register. You can go online and register. Just make sure that you are registered and that you go and you vote. The last thing that we want to talk about is Ciclovia. This last Sunday, we had the October Ciclovia, and I was actually there not interviewing people, not as a representative of We Love Nogales, but as a representative of myself, promoting my books, promoting the event. I mean, the books again, just keeps coming up. But it was great. We have a real quick video, and we have some pictures that we want to show you, and we've got a real quick video of some of my favorite highlights.
Ya me está gustando más de lo normal. Todos mis sentidos van pidiendo más. Esto hay que tomarlo sin ningún apuro. Despacito.
All right, so it was really cool. There was some awesome local talent there. The kids from Mexicayot they were dancing, and you saw the video. It was really, really awesome. And I brought our co-host Charles along, and he was hanging from a tree, and all kinds of people came and got pictures. You saw the little girl dancing with him in that video. It was a great event. Next month there's another one. ¿Qué día, Edgardo? ¿Otro domingo? ¿Qué día es?
No, hasta el siguiente.
Hasta el diciembre, entonces. No.
19.
Hasta enero. So I guess there's going to be 2 months off of Ciclovia. Yeah.
Próximo aviso.
Okay, until further notice. But thank you to Ciclovia for coming to Karen Park and doing what you guys were doing, promoting local talent, giving vendors an opportunity to sell their products and demonstrate what they do. It's really cool. And so thank you, Cero Estres, and thank you, Ciclovia, for providing us with that. Now, we're going to take a break really quick, but before we take that break, don't forget to give us a like and a share. Let everybody know what's going on. We've got some great guests, so give everybody the opportunity to see what they have to offer this community. We'll be back. Okay, welcome back, and here we are with Stephanie and Alexis from Startup Unidos. You guys want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Yeah, Joe, before I get on to talking about myself, I just want to thank you guys, both of you, for putting something like this on together for our community. It's really amazing that you're pushing the bill and trying to make a difference and changing the conversation about our community. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
we really, really appreciate the pizza.
You're welcome. You would have liked me less. I made friends before I
Yeah,
came up
definitely.
here.
You made good friends. You're definitely good friends with us now.
Yeah.
So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Let
Sure.
everybody know who you are and what you do.
My name's Stephanie Bermudez. I'm from Nogales, Arizona. Ambos, as we say from both sides of the border. I took off like a lot of young people do. Left Nogales, ended up in Phoenix to start off with. Lived out in San Francisco for a bit, then moved back out to Tucson, where I got really involved with the startup scene out there. Quite by accident, to be honest with you. But it seems that it was maybe just the right time for some things to develop. As I was hearing Alexis have a conversation earlier, I walked into an opportunity to be able to develop a new economy through creating startups. And I got to do a whole bunch of stuff in Tucson, but for Nogales for the last 2 years, I've been trying to also change the conversation of our community and support, groups like yours and other individuals, entrepreneurial types. Like I know that there's many here at Nogales Community Development. We have this awesome hub, to come to and create and talk about ideas. And I'm doing that here. And I'm also doing it in the state of Sonora with Alexis. And we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Alexis. ¿Y qué prefieren? ¿Inglés, español?
English or
English,
Spanish, como ustedes digan.
Spanglish. Está bien.
Spanglish for
Así
all the
es.
community.
There we go.
Hi everyone, I am Alexis Sanchez. I am from Guaymas, Mexico. I work with communities here in Guaymas, working with all the techie guys who wants to make things and all those stuff. So I am a community leader for the Texas Startup Program. So I have been working with the early stage of every entrepreneur, trying to give culture and solve problems in very specific communities. So I started working in Sonora State, my home state, and even in Guaymas, my hometown, and then expand and start working all along Mexico. And now very glad to share this vision and this mission, including with Stephanie, and working with Arizona and Sonora together as one mega region.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Very cool. So give us some examples of some of the startups that you guys have helped out and some of the other things that you've done in Ambos Nogales.
Sure. So we have a specific program that we just recently launched here in Nogales. The program is focused on high school youth. We had an opportunity to get awarded a grant for a youth arts incubator in collaboration with the University of Arizona's Southwest Folk Life Alliance. I don't know how many of you out there have heard of VozFrontera yet, but you're going to begin to hear a lot more about this project that is located up on Crawford Street in the historic Raúl Castro house. So for those of you that don't know Raúl Castro, he's the only Latino governor that our state has had, very influential, and he offered his house here in our community to the university. So through collaboration, we're offering an entrepreneurship component, and it's been going really great. We're actually at our 9th week of a 9-week program, so I'm happy to announce that our students are going to graduate this Sunday as part of an event that Alexis and I are hosting. Also another collaborative opportunity, but this time in Tucson with 10 West. So our students here in Nogales are going to receive a certificate from both Startup Unidos and VozFrontera for their work in economic development and entrepreneurship.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, I've actually heard a lot of good things about VozFrontera. And what else have you guys have done? I mean, you guys even did like a concert or something like that at one point? Or
There are several programs that fall under the VozFrontera model.
All right.
My program is the first program that has kicked off. There was a Border Beats program,
Okay.
but that's not a program that I run, so
Okay,
I'll let
okay.
Gustavo tell that story.
All right, cool,
But
cool.
there are other programs. We're all in pilot phase when it comes to the VozFrontera project, so we're testing out a lot of different things in our community, looking for experts who might be able to help. So it will have a few faces. Even our youth program that we're offering through VozFrontera, that's the healthy aspect of running a pilot, is that we get to try again, a second or third time, having learned on a small scale. where we can sustain, you know, the program and make it secure that it's successful for Nogales, because we want to keep it here. Next year,
course,
we
absolutely.
want to offer it to 100 people. In 5 years, our goal is to offer it to 1,000 kids. So
Very,
on
very
both
cool.
sides of the border.
So, you know, you said you grew up in Nogales and then you moved around quite a bit. Now, what brought you back? Because, I mean, it happens to a lot of people. They end up coming back, but very few decide to actually change the place, change Nogales.
Sure. It was a program here at Nogales Community Development that was not directly being offered to me because I was living in Tucson, but was offered to the community here. And it was the same conversation that Hector was having. It was in trying to develop a design for the commercial kitchen, which you guys have already,
Which is
right? That
being
Nogales
built,
Community Development is already in construction. To having the conversation about potentially like checking really the viability at that point of could Nogales have a co-working space? Like, could they have an innovation space? Like, most people would see Nogales, Arizona, and they would say no. What would they say? Well, ahí Nogales no pasa nada. Nogales blah, 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 right? Well, I don't subscribe to that. So, and creative, innovative people don't subscribe to that kind of mess, right? So we just continue to push forward. It was early conversations with that. I got to play like this faux CEO and run a study here in my own community. And I'm not going to lie, when I was in Tucson and they recruited me for this opportunity, I had a lot of doubts, you know, of my own. And, but when I came out here, what was great was that I left feeling a sense of responsibility to come back home and make a difference, because I could see opportunities where others could only see challenges. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I came back. I traveled back and forth for a couple of years, but then I decided to take a leap. And honestly, Joe, I'm really happy that I did. I appreciate the environment here. Unlike any other, Nogales is so amazingly beautiful. It's peaceful. And I already knew that. And having my friend Audrey, who's here with us today, and I'm not on camera, but hi, behind the scenes. You know, it's hard to ignore how beautiful our state is, but especially the Southern Arizona aspect of it. So I'm really happy to be home. It's good stuff.
Very, very cool. Now, you mentioned something that's actually something that I've been striving to change, and it's this mentality here where, you know, like you said, no pasa nada, así es Nogales, nunca va a cambiar.
Yeah.
That mentality is something that I've been working to change, and it's, I mean, at least in my eyes, from what I've seen, it's more this complacency, you know, that people have where they don't necessarily want change, or they don't know how to make the change.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, Joe, to be honest with you. I'm done trying to figure that out. Like my approach is in not being that and offering people a different subscription, a different opportunity to think in a different type of way. So those people who are ready for that change, you will naturally attract them. They will naturally follow what it is that you're offering, right? So I don't worry about trying to figure out what the problem is. I just recognize that, there is a challenge there, like I said, right?
Yep.
But then now I have a sense of responsibility to be in the change, so that I can begin to think, you know, subscribe to something different. And I say that to our kids. Like, a big part of the program that we offer at Startup Unidos is really allowing people to look within themselves and really subscribe to the things that our like gut tells us that we want, what our passion drives us to do, and not what we hear, because that's poison, as we know, right?
Absolutely.
So we do have this Impulse Academy aspect of our programming that we've instilled to really help an entrepreneur, to really help people who are like stepping outside of their comfort zone all the time, maybe multiple times a day, right? Where you're subscribing to that you're able to be good, right? Be good to whatever that being good is to you, because we always have an opportunity to get better. Like, even when you're better, you could still be even greater than that, right?
There's always opportunities to grow.
Always. And when you're being thrown outside of your comfort zone like that, like, oh my God, you know, you'll get home and cry, like ugly cry, like, like, right? But it's a process for all of us, and it takes a lot of like shedding a lot of like, you know, our own personal kind of issues and stuff. So we want to help people. We want to help people at every level, not just to take the courage. This startup weekend that we have, I have had so many people text me today. I'm not kidding. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say an exact number. I'm just saying there's been a few people who would be like, I'm really nervous about this weekend. I'm really nervous about it. And I tell them, I was like, change the conversation about that fear and turn it into an opportunity. Like, know that you feel that way because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, and that's what you need. That's what you need.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't grow if you don't step outside
Exactly.
your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I really like about what you guys are doing is that Nogales is one city separated between two different countries.
Yeah.
That's the ambos Nogales, like we said.
Yeah.
So that philosophy that you guys have of interacting, having the two communities interact and be one, I mean, how does that play into your philosophy?
I'm gonna have Alexis share because obviously he's right on one side, the country on this side, and the country on that side, right, depending what side you're on. So I saw an opportunity, the greatest opportunity, when I recognize that the population in Sonora of young people who are ready to develop new things is bursting at its seams. And when I realized from attending a few of their startup events how eager and how hungry young people in Sonora were to want to do something just like similar to generations on this side, but they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the organization, there wasn't enough to grab onto to really feed that passion, to really feed that creativity. So there was a need for more communities, there was a need for more programming, there was a need for further collaboration, and really there was a need for awareness. Like, we are so privileged, on this side of the border. So I was always also considering that, like, at how many resources I had, and that we oftentimes even left astray. Like, we do not use or take advantage of grants, of resources, of opportunities, of, that are really low hanging fruit for us here in the States. So I started also recognizing this like sharp contrast between, these two countries. And I became passionate about wanting to do something like that, and started playing around with the idea of like collisions, right? Like, what if we developed a space where we could bring these individuals together. I'm saying individuals from all of the state of Sonora and all of the state of Arizona, so that they could come together and create. And we've done that. And we're doing it again this weekend. Awesome. We've done that. And what is formed in relationships and ideas, in inspiration, in knowledge exchange, in several aspects of it, is really unique. Because when those collaborations have come together, they've always been, men in suits or men with boots, right? Like in agriculture, in transportation, and those aspects of it. But there's not a startup community that is quite like what Alexis and I have experienced. And I'd like for Alexis to share, about what that means for Sonora to have a bunch of us Arizonans, poking around. Yeah.
Well, I have one thing to say. Lo mejor que nos pudo haber pasado es que somos vecinos, Sonora y Arizona. The best thing we ever happened to us is that we are neighbors. So the thing is, we share lots of things in a very complex context. It happens to me. I'm from Guaymas, a small city between Hermosillo and Ciudad Obregón, the two main and large cities in Sonora. So everything that is happening in Sonora or is happening in Hermosillo or in Ciudad Obregón. But we also say, en Guaymas no pasa nada. Yeah? So that's maybe a thing we can share, So what we find out is that our very talented persons out there that they want to do and create great things, but they don't have the connections, they don't have the guidance and all the things they need, just the inspiration they need to start and do things. So if what we saw on Startup Unidos and all the events we collaborate, it's that there are things we can do together and strengthen together. There are things that Arizona are great and they have something to give to Sonora, and Sonora have a lot of talent that wants to collaborate and came here and build great things with you guys. So that's the main reason that Startup Unidos did a great match on the collaboration in Sonora and Arizona.
Very cool. Well, one of the things that's a philosophy that I actually slip into a lot of my stories, because most of my stories in these books take place in Nogales, and that's the philosophy that I slip into it, is that it's not about Arizona. It's about both sides of the fence, and just that we are neighbors, and that or in Nogales, since it's one city with a border right in between it, or two states that, I mean, things are better when we work together.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The border is just a fence.
Absolutely.
It's just like that, but the community is bigger than that.
Or a wall, depending how things go.
Yeah, depend of the context. Yeah.
And I mean, Joe, now with the use of technology,
It's a small world.
there's no walls,
No, there are
right?
no
To some
walls, yeah.
extent, I mean, that's just another added layer that in the past, in the very short past of our community, because really, 120 years maybe, right, of existence. This is the first time where we're really thinking about technology in a really big way. Not technology as in, a flip phone, not technology as in,
My
HDTV or Sidekick or, or now like more technology than we've ever seen. We're talking about the Internet of Things. We're talking about, AI and automation and a whole new way in which people are thinking about how they work. They're thinking about what they're passionate about, the changes that they want to create, because alongside technology, there's also a lot of issues that people are becoming more empowered and more passionate to solve, right? Like, I mean, voting was just, it's such an important aspect of us. And I'm glad that you highlighted that, because we're becoming more responsible. We want to do more. We want to eat better. We want to, be more responsible with how we consume in period.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot out there, and I'm really passionate about the work that we do, because we get to entrepreneurship and innovation touches the entire globe, not just Arizona and Sonora, and we have at our fingertips the opportunity to learn from anybody that we choose around the world and bring it here to Nogales. Yes, here to Nogales. Yes, to Guaymas and to every other community out there. Whatever. It's a different world out there, and we have to do different things.
And I think
Microphone.
sorry. I think that one thing we need to be very sure about it is that it's not only to solve problems locally. It's not only to improve our communities in Sonora and Arizona. It's how the talent of the Sonoran people and the Arizona people can solve problems all around the world.
Absolutely.
The world is more open and connected than never in history.
Yeah, this show is a perfect example of that, because we have viewers not just in Nogales, Sonora, and not just in Sonora, or in Arizona, or Sinaloa, but we have viewers in Hawaii. We have viewers all over the world. People have, and I mean, books now. I mean, these books that I published in a really simple way are all over the world. I have fans in the UK. I have fans in Spain that are learning about Nogales, and it's
and that's the thing. This is the power of the innovation. This is the power of technology, and we need to use that power wisely.
Absolutely. And I mean, it sets an example. We can set an example for the world.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep tooting your horn, but I got to say, you producing the show and making us discoverable, online, like showing that there are different types of people in Nogales, having a different conversation. Like, you're not trying to be perfect, right?
No,
you have a pop-up, you have a pop-up studio at a shared space. Yeah. In what is building as downtown Nogales. Like, own it, right? I mean, it's not perfect, but the more people support this program, the more ideas that you guys bring in, the more you push out there. Like, that's good for everybody. Whether you like this show or not, you're helping, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate what you do, and for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, you guys have been awesome. I mean, the pizza started on the pizza is great. Now, continuing that with that philosophy, I mean, maybe we're pushing the philosophy a little too much, but the philosophy that we just talked about, what can people that are watching right now do to support you, to support the startups that you help? And
one thing that I'm certain is that it's not about me or Alexis. Yeah. It's not about either one of us. Yeah. And we both share that value, and it's why I appreciate his partnership so much. But it's also a conversation again that I had with Audrey, who's a partner of ours. She said, "Hey, Steph," she's like, you're helping so many people with your work. Like, that must feel really amazing that you're touching so many people. And I said, yeah, I'm living my dream. And she's like, but you're helping others with their dream. And I said, that's my dream. Like, to help others with their dream is my dream. So
Selfless.
it's really, it is to some extent. I want to get paid for it though. So not entirely selfless. Not entirely.
Well, you got to keep bringing us pizza.
Oh yeah.
So you need the money for that.
I mean, look, I will bring you better pizza once I start making money. Like, not the $5 hot and ready. I'll step it up next time. So so really it's not about me, it's not about that. It's the greater purpose for what we do this for, but it really takes the person. And we offer a variety of opportunities for people to step in, because it's also you also being pushed out. Like, a lot of people doubt that these types of programs that we have is for them. And you hear everything. You hear the misconception that you have to be young. You hear the misconception that you have to be techie. You hear the misconception that it's all white men. You hear the misconception that, that's not for Latinos, that the people are already they're self-interest. I mean, you just hear everything.
Yeah, you guys are breaking those stereotypes. I mean, right here, right now.
And they're barriers also in our mind, right? Going back to that mindset that allow us not to be able to push forward and say, I'm here and I may not know what I'm doing. And I've had local people here from Nogales. I am always trying to get Nogales people to step outside and do something that they know that they're capable of, but they just, like Alexa said, they haven't been given the opportunity, that hasn't been accessible to them. There hasn't been somebody in the community that is highlighting their strengths, that shows that they not only belong in this new economy, they're more than capable of stepping in. Nogales has incredible people.
Absolutely.
Incredible people come from Nogales. Nobody would say that that's not true. Nobody in Nogales would say that that's not true. We can all agree on that. So then why are we so down on ourselves? Exactly, right? Yeah. Like, we are like the fruit of the apple that fell from the tree fell from this tree, this walnut tree. So maybe the walnut that fell from the tree was this walnut tree in Nogales, right? Yeah. But the point in saying that is that it's up to you first to make that choice, and then subscribe to any of our programs. And if you don't see any of our programs, you don't see any of our events that are available to you, talk to us, because we can get you plugged into. You could travel with us, to an event in Sonora. If you're from Sonora and from Nogales, Sonora, and you want to participate with us, like, we have, even as early as this weekend, a startup weekend. So if you're hungry and you want this, we have scholarships that we've given to Nogales Community Development, and 5 of them have gone without being subscribed to. Like, nobody has taken them. So that's what I'm saying, right? It takes the person to recognize the opportunity and to really, come forward and say, I want this. And if you're that person, no matter where Alexis and I are at, we'll help you. Well,
and I'm sure you guys, I mean, you being from Nogales, you being from Guaymas, like you said, ahí dicen lo mismo, ¿no? Que no pasa nada aquí. You guys met some opposition and some resistance from people. Maybe, did anybody tell you, I mean, why are you going to do that here?
Have you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure. Have you? Has anybody come up to you and said, it's not going to work?
I've encountered some really strange things here in this community, but what I will say is they're not even worth mentioning, to be honest with you, because I don't want to feed that.
No, absolutely not.
It's just, there are some challenges. Like, every community has challenges, and I've certainly come with challenges, but I just look at them in the face. Like if there's something somebody is suggesting or doing, like, I ask them, like, why is it that you feel that way? Like, I've heard that this is a conversation that you're having about my work. Well, why is it that you choose to think that versus something more promising, something like an open mind about things being one. This can work in Nogales.
Absolutely.
Actually, it's working in Nogales. It's not only working in Nogales, it's working across 2 completely different states and 2 countries. Like, it's happening, right? They could be a part of it. And then the other thing is just that, like, this isn't for us. Like there's that whole conversation. It absolutely is. We're here. Like just run with it. You can be at any stage, any age, any sex, any race, any ideas. One is not too small. The other is not too big. Like we have to put it all out on the table. And with what we're developing, we're creating space for people to create.
Absolutely.
Like bring your crazy idea.
Whatever it might be.
I don't care what it is. Bring it. And let's talk about how we can make it work in today's economy. Yeah.
Very cool.
I think one thing we're working on is on
Microphone hog.
yeah.
Just kidding.
We're working on the minimum viable mindset of the people. That's like the concept we want to achieve with all the voices that are repeating that story, you know, and that story is repeating itself in both sides of the border, in Mexico, in Arizona, in some part of the U.S. So that's why we do what we do every day, just to work on the minimum viable mindset of the people and to prove that we can open space to create things. Maybe not the next big thing, but just a thing that can change the vision and can connect with other people and open a lot of possibilities in order to achieve some great things.
Awesome.
So that's the thing.
Has the current geopolitical climate affected the way you guys do things? Like, I mean, between the two countries?
In my side, the Mexican point of view is no, because politicians can say anything they want, but the real people are working.
Absolutely.
On that side of the border and even in this one. And what the event this weekend in Tucson, the Latinx in Tech, is one proof of that both sides of the border are working together, the Mexican side, the U.S. side, and we don't care what the politicians are saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very awesome. No, I mean, I've seen that happen. I mean, between in the produce industry, how at first there was a little bit of a scare, but then they got through it, and they're working even stronger now together than they were before to maintain that bond.
That's why I like challenges.
Yeah.
Like, give me your problem, right? And let me solve it. And every day I'm constantly looking to solve problems. We can drown in all of the worry out there, right? But it's not going to get us anywhere if we're just, thinking about things and not acting on things. Like,
Of course.
you want to see a change, go out and vote,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And then do something.
And this is a very important election too. I mean, people need to vote. I mean, it's important on the local level, on the state level, and on the national
Absolutely.
level.
But do something. It doesn't matter how big or how small. Encourage others to do the same, because you're pushing the bill, even if it's just changing the conversation, like on Tuesdays or like No Mitote Wednesday or something, right? Like just pick a day, start a little at a time, and and roll with it and try to change the conversation.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Now, where can people find you guys?
We are physically between Phoenix and Hermosillo at any given moment.
Okay, so just be going back and forth.
Yeah, so we're really remote. All of the programs that we offer are really on a pop-up style,
Okay.
because we want to carry those relationships from city to city. We will have like established, programs in cities as we continue to scale. But right now, as I said, our youth program is located at VozFrontera here in Nogales, Arizona. We have an office out in Tucson as well, but there's not really a physical space for us to meet with us at, other than just reach out to us individually, and we can come to you. We'll meet somewhere, along the way. So you can catch us anywhere between that region.
So just wait on the freeway and wait for you to come back?
I mean, if that's what it takes, I'm not kidding. Like, there's been really weird things, on how we meet with people. So I would probably do something like that. Everybody's really flexible, right, in the space that we work in. So it works for us at that capacity. Online, you can always find us. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on Twitter. the most. We also have a podcast that we kicked off last year and got really busy with our accelerator program and some other stuff that we were working on heavily. So we shelved that and are bringing it back. So you could always go back and listen to our already aired podcasts that have some really great conversations about people on both sides of the border, talking about innovation, talking about collaboration, entrepreneurship, and more than anything, sharing advice with the community on how they could get involved, how, inspirational through that way. This weekend we will be we're taking part in the 10 West Festival and are having a 3-day weekend long 54 hours straight startup weekend at Rail Yard in Tucson. We have scholarships for Nogales and we want to give them out to people. Please reach out to us at any capacity that you can and ask us about that, because we want to get you there. We want to get your idea out and we want to surround you with amazing people who can help you carry that forward. You don't need to be Latino. You don't need to be a techie. You don't need to speak Spanish, right? This event is for you. There is going to be a tech focus on it, but that is because we're trying to help more Latinos start businesses that are technologically focused, because that's where we're headed, right?
Absolutely.
That's the world that we're headed.
Thrive in the modern era.
So we need to start thinking about those things, and that's really where the Latinx and tech focus is at. We have our partners from Sonora. We have our partners from Arizona. We're all coming together for a weekend. You can find us there. Even if you want to poke your head in and just see what it is, reach out to us.
Awesome. Now, what's your social media tag? It's at Startup Unidos, right?
Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned a hashtag that you guys use for
Latinx and tech.
Latinx and tech, it's the hashtag that we're working on this weekend.
Okay, very cool. All right. Did you have something else that you wanted to add?
No, just join us on this weekend, working with all communities, focusing on the Latinx community, but the event is very open to any person who wants to join, who is open to learn and who is open to collaborate with different people. We have done history before. In the Texas history, there have been always an initiative about making an event that could be binational, and the first even binational event from the combined Mexico and the U.S. Happened here 1 year ago in Ambos Nogales. So, and that's a thing that Startup Unidos run, and that's our proud. So we are repeating this again this weekend in Tucson. So please join us and live this experience.
Awesome. Now, one last question that I have for you guys before we move on is, what's the craziest idea that you've heard from somebody approach you? But I mean, so crazy that it just could work. Can you?
So this actually happened in Hermosillo, and it's fascinating, and then also just like crazy.
Okay.
So, what would you think of eating a chorizo that's made of hibiscus tea leaves?
Whoa. I don't know.
So, talking about today, we have serious environmental issues.
Absolutely.
We need to change. We need to increase the conversation about the food that we take in, but we also need to start thinking about consuming animal products, because it's having a detrimental effect on our planet, right?
Absolutely.
So chorizo, I mean, this is what I hear from people who are trying to give up the food, right? Like, I could never give up chorizo. I could never give up whatever that bacon, right? I could never give it up. So it was really fascinating, because when you tasted it, and this was part of the validation that they had, people couldn't believe it. You can't believe it. But the business model behind that is actually quite genius, because not only is it having a social impact effect on the world, it's a healthier alternative, right? So it also has that impact, but it's got a business model where the hibiscus leaf also gives you Jamaica, right? I mean, you can have an amazing drink and extract that from the leaf, and then
turn it into the chorizo.
And then turn it into a chorizo, right? And open it to this like secondary market. High school kids.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Right? And you're just like, what? This is crazy. But but I mean, you see everything, right? You see, individuals wanting to improve all types of stuff. Food is one for sure. A lot of social impact issues, women's issues, technology-based components, because nowadays you're like, I have this great idea, but you're going to need maybe an e-commerce store. Maybe you're going to need an app.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to need, some type of applied technology in order to launch it in today's world. So
And you
it works
guys
with
help them achieve
everything.
that?
Yeah, and we help them
Awesome.
with that.
Very, very cool.
So
Well, I remember one. I need your help in translating this,
Okay.
but there is this disease, dyslexia.
yeah,
Is it dyslexia? Yeah. So there was an app developed in one weekend by techie guys from Guaymas, and this app, what it does is that read some text and can order all the letters in order to have a perfect vision of
Wow.
what.
So a dyslexia translator, basically.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's a AR
Uh-huh.
developed in order to solve the problem of the dyslexic people. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
That was MVP developed in 3 days,
Wow.
by some software students in Guaymas.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, that and hibiscus chorizo.
Right?
I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, we're changing the world.
Absolutely.
Right? Even just talking about it, we're changing the world.
Yep.
So I do want to say that Alexis and I do a lot, and it's not just us, that we have amazing people around us that really help us kind of like fulfill our overall mission. But we're going to change. I mean, what you see about Startup Unidos now is going to be different in a year.
Oh, and it should
We're
be,
going to
right?
pivot. Yeah, we're gonna shapeshift, as we move forward, and we're fine with that. And everybody else should be fine
Absolutely.
with that as well, right? We also really depend on community partners. Like Nogales Community Development has been amazing for us, supporting us all along the way. The Ambos Nogales Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has supported us, along the way. There's several organizations, in the community have really helped. And from the Tucson aspect of it, we're part of 10 West. So we can connect, and plug people. Like if there's not a resource here in Nogales yet, and you certainly can't wait for Startup Unidos, to bring it into this region, like we have connections in Phoenix, there's connections in Hermosillo, connections all over and each side of the states where, we will get you plugged in. We want to help this community, and it does take our partners from different areas. This weekend is 10 West, and there was 2 really big pitch competitions where people were able to earn tens of thousands of dollars to kick off their idea. We can help them get there. So we'd like to see more of that come from Nogales.
Awesome. All right, so I guess we're running. I always run out of time. Edgardo always gets on me for going way over time. So we're gonna wrap it up. But before that, I want to just say, this model that you guys have, where it's this mobile model and pop up and things like that. From what I've seen and from my own experience, that really works best. I mean, maybe not best, but at least for a startup, for somebody who's just getting started, that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
You save money for one thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And one thing we find out is that there are a lot of companies and organizations that the wants to do some things in entrepreneurship, in innovation, and working with community, but they don't know how. So that's what we do. That's what we are been doing for the last years. So maybe we are the connector that can help those organizations to set up the program. So if you want to do something, connect with us and let's have a conversation and let's see how we can work together.
Awesome. So go ahead and plug your event one more time, and then I'm going to plug mine.
Latinx in Tech Startup Weekend as part of 10 West. It's the last weekend of 10 West. We're going to be at Rail Yard. It's this amazing innovation space just in the outskirts of downtown Tucson. The event kicks off on Friday at 6:30 p.m. The ticket or your scholarship in this case, because we have scholarships for Nogales that we want to give out, includes all 7 meals for the weekend. It's a 3-day event, and believe it or not, by Sunday night, you will be on stage either pitching your idea or on stage supporting somebody else's idea in a panel of judges and leaving with new friends, with new opportunities, tools, learning new methodologies, having met amazing connections, connected with mentors, ate good, all that jazz.
Awesome. All that jazz.
All
really?
that jazz.
Really?
Yeah. So we want to see you guys there. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So, I mean, follow them on social media. @Startup Unidos. I mean, you can find them all everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Yeah.
And you guys said Twitter's the one where you're the most active, or?
Oh, we're active on all our pages.
Okay, so
yeah.
they're active
yeah,
everywhere.
So we're good.
Find them, look up their events, look up what they're doing. They've got a lot of great things going on.
We
And
do.
if you've got an idea, pitch it to you guys, right?
Please, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we are way out of time. So we got to go. I am going to invite you guys one more time to go to Oasis Cinema tomorrow between 4 and 8 p.m., where I will be with copies of my new book, autographing them. And speaking of startups, this is actually the first book that I published under my London Bridge imprint, which is my own publishing company. So,
Awesome. Congrats.
yeah. So thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for having
And
us.
again, thank you for that pizza.
Yeah.
I was so, honestly, you guys saved my life. I was so hungry when
You're
I got
welcome.
here. So we're going to play the video for the event tomorrow one more time, and we'll see you next week.
Whoa!